What's up, YouTubers? Today we are test driving a Hyundai Santa Fe Limited Hybrid. And I have become quite the fan of Hyundai products as of late. I've driven the Tucson plug-in hybrid. I've driven an Ioniq, just the original standard hybrid Ioniq. And I've driven a Santa Cruz, and now I've driven a Santa Fe, and they are just nice cars to drive. There's a reason why Hyundai has come up as much as they have in the last 15 years, and that is primarily that they're making good products. The chassis on this car is very well refined. The handling is decent. The hybrid system is very smooth. It doesn't intrude. You don't really feel what it's doing too much. And I just enjoy driving them. It must be said, I don't really necessarily feel a whole lot of difference between driving this Santa Fe hybrid and the Tucson that I drove earlier this year. They're really, I don't know, there's not a whole lot of difference in them, maybe, as far as driving goes. This is a longer car, but the wheelbase is only like 0.2 of an inch longer, so I don't know. That was a few months ago. Maybe there is a difference, but I don't really feel it or recall it. I even watched my own test drive video on that one just to try to remind myself, and this pretty much feels the same, which is not a bad thing. They're both very nice cars to drive, both relatively refined, both, I think, good value for money, depending on what they're actually transacting for right now. I have no idea what market conditions are on the ground at Hyundai dealers. I'm assuming they are short of cars and therefore high of price, but I imagine a lot of that has to do with where you're located in the country and how long you're willing to wait and everything like that. But in general, these are very nice cars to drive. It's not the fastest car in the world, but it certainly doesn't need to be. I find the performance to be adequate. Fuel economy is very good out of the hybrid. Let's put it in sport mode. Ooh, yes. The whole car feels, I feel like the sport mode tightens up the steering a little bit on this one, and it definitely improves the throttle response. That's all digital trickery, of course. Just the car's computers reacting a little bit more swiftly to the inputs that you're giving it. But you definitely do feel a difference when you shift it into sport mode, and of course you see the difference with the sporty gauges. Get onto the freeway here. Four bangers a little raggedy under stress. I think it's a 1.6 liter turbo engine, and this is a big car for a 1.6 liter, so it's a good thing that it has the electric motor. But once you're up to speed, very smooth. No complaints at all. That's, let's call it 84 kilometers per hour. To give you an idea of the refinement. I think that the Hyundais, to me, are a little bit more refined than the current Toyota competitors. I've driven a Venza hybrid recently, a 2022. I think this gets a little bit less wind noise at speed. I complained about the 4-cylinder engine in this sounding a little bit raggedy getting onto the highway, but Toyota's 4 cylinders always sound raggedy regardless of what you're doing. I would take a Hyundai over a Toyota right now for sure. And I'll be honest, historically I'm no great fan of Toyota, but historically I'm no great fan of Hyundai either. I don't have a big dog in this fight. All I can tell you is my experience from the last few cars that I've driven. And I feel like Hyundai is trying a little harder. How do you say it? Hyundai, Hyundai, Hyundai? I have a feeling I'm grossly mispronouncing it, and I guess I now have enough respect for Hyundai that I feel like I need to figure out how to pronounce their name properly. You could get a speeding ticket in this thing. I mean, I won't, because I'm on the freeway in Southern California, and quite frankly, in the middle of the day, you got to be doing more than 88 and a 65 to get a ticket around here. I've been doing 85 and a 65 on dozens of occasions and been passed by a cop. That's the way traffic flows down here. I think I've been pulled over on the freeways in Southern California. I've been pulled over once, and I was driving like a lunatic. I deserved it. Great car to drive. As far as a small, mid-sized, or large compact SUV goes, whatever you want to call it, I'm a fan. My issue right now is I love sedans, and as the years go by, more and more of them are going out of production because people don't buy them anymore. So I'm like, okay, what SUV might I be able to live with? And honestly, I could kind of see myself driving. I mean, this would work for me in some ways. I just really don't like SUVs. I feel like I'd regret it. But this could work for me, and I really like that Santa Cruz truck. I drove the limited version of that with the turbo engine. That thing was fun. It was pretty fast. And then I like the Tucson too. I don't know. You might see me rolling around town in a Hyundai one of these days. Hopefully by the time I sign some contracts on one, I figure out how to pronounce it properly. But anyways, that's my test drive video on this thing. It's pretty sick. You should check it out. Like my video, subscribe to my channel, etc., etc. Bye-bye. Does everything smoothly. Here's a guy in an M2 with a Hodel 10X personalized license plate. That is what we call a crypto bro, I think. I don't know why he hasn't had his windows tinted though. Because if I was hodeling that much money, well, I tint the windows on my cars anyway, and I'm not part of the hodel gang.